Alright kids, it's that time of the year again. Horror games. These are my top 3 horror games of all times. Just a heads up folks, there's going to be spoilers for these games. Numero 3. Dead Space 2. First, let me start off with this. Dead Space 1 is my favorite game in the Dead Space series, but Dead Space 2 definitely had the better horror aspects. Although this isn't necessarily a quote-unquote horror game, as most of you would consider a horror game, I consider it more of a psychological horror game. Watching Isaac Clarke slowly slip into madness during the course of the game is truly fascinating to watch. The game starts off with Isaac having symptoms that seem similar to PTSD. He becomes nervous, starts seeing and hearing things that aren't there, and even talks to himself from time to time. From there it evolves into him going completely batshit crazy when he begins to hear and see his dead girlfriend, doing whatever she asks him to, including giving himself a lobotomy, so that his girlfriend can live in his head instead of having to walk around. Seriously, it's fucked up, man. Just look at this scene. What the fuck? The game did have its other scares from time to time. Swarms of monsters attacking you, jump scares, stuff like that. But the psychological mindfuck that this game gives you is truly top notch. Number 2! Among the Sleep. This is a very underrated horror game that I feel didn't get the attention it deserved when it came out. Not only is the story great and the scares are on point, but you get to play as a baby. A frackin' baby. You crawl and waddle around as fast as you can, cause the boogeyman is coming for you. The game also hits close to home for me as well. The story focuses on the horrors of divorce from a child's perspective, which is something I too went through at a young age. The game starts off on your birthday, and your mom gives you a teddy bear, who becomes your guide of sorts throughout the game. The bear also acts as somewhat of a safety blanket for the child throughout the game. When you hug the teddy bear in the game, it acts as a flashlight of sorts, guiding you. The mother of the game is portrayed early on as a nice parent, but as the game progresses, you'll find she's not as nice as she seems. The divorce has turned her to drinking, and she's become an alcoholic. She mistreats you and forgets about you for hours at a time. The teddy bear, in my opinion, represents your father, a guide trying to bring you to safety. At the start of the game, you venture into the basement of your home and find a giant world just waiting for you to explore. Obviously, there's not a giant world in this kid's basement. It's all just showing the power of a child's imagination, because he's really just in the basement, or he could be dreaming the whole time. The point of the game is to collect a few memories of your past, happy memories of times you spent with your mother, her singing you to sleep, or giving you a new toy, for example. However, if you search around the world and don't take it as at face value, you'll find children's drawings of horrific scenes, most of which feature a woman, most likely your mother, screaming and or crying, with a baby in the background crying as well. These, obviously, are about your life. Once you collect all your happy memories, you can leave the basement. However, as you're leaving the basement, your trusty teddy bear is taken and his arms ripped off. When you finally get out of the basement, you find your mother sitting on the floor in the kitchen with a bottle of wine in her hands. She's clearly drunk and she's crying. In her hand is the arm of the teddy bear. As you go to take the arm from the bear, she rips it out of... Take the arm from the bear. When you finally leave, you find your mother sitting on the floor of the kitchen with a bottle of wine in her hands. She's clearly drunk and she's crying. In her hand is the teddy bear's arm. As you go to take the arm from her, she rips it back out of your hands and shoves you to the ground. Then there's a knock at the front door. You slowly crawl to the front door and a man's voice is heard. He picks you up and carries you away. To me, this is either the father saving you from your mother or child services. I'm not sure which, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume that it's your father. Here we go, folks. This is it. for all the marbles. Number 1. My favorite horror game of all time. Drum roll. My favorite horror game of all time is Five Nights at Freddy's. This is truly a great game for so many reasons. 1, it has the creepy ass robotic animals. I mean, haven't you ever been to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid and been like, Jesus Christ, where they find these things? 2, it's got jump scares like no other. I mean, you can't even go like 30 seconds in the game without something jumping out at you or screaming in your face. It scares the shit out of me. 3rd, the game makes you work a job. As if it's not bad enough as you have to work your ass off all day, now you get to come home and work a second job watching security cameras in a video game. The horror truly never ends. And 4th, and probably the scariest part about this whole game, is that people still buy this shit. Seriously, what in the 7 hells is wrong with people? Nothing is scary about 5 dicks in Freddy. Please do yourself a favor and get some better horror games, kids. And yes, I say kids, because no one over 14 should be playing this game, let alone be getting scared from it. And I know what you're going to say. Juan, did you even play it? Yes, I played the first one a while ago when it first came out, and I almost fell asleep while I was playing it. Come on, people. I've seen scarier things on the goddamn subway. My true number 1 horror game is a game called Anna. You're probably sitting there thinking, huh? The hell is that? Exactly. This is another horror game that I don't think enough people know about, let alone that it got the attention that it deserves. You think Dank Souls is hard? Try this game. This game is so hard, it's harder than all 7 hells combined. The game gives you no direction at all and leaves you to figure out all the puzzles on yourself. Honestly, I don't want to give too much away about this game because I think that it's so good that you should just go out and play it for yourself and experience it firsthand. But I'll give you this. The game doesn't rely on shitty jump scares like other games, but rather the game has subtle creepy things happening. Things move in rooms when you leave the room and come back. Paintings follow you, the eyes, and even a floating mask towards the end of the game follows you around the room and watches you the entire time. It's creepy as shit. Seriously. The fuck, man? I'm just going to leave it at that and tell you to play it for yourself because it is completely well worth it. Also, if you get stuck, turn to my favorite YouTuber of all time, good old Cinnamon Toast Ken. He has a full playthrough of the game, and it truly helps if you get stuck. Plus, he's pretty funny. What do you want from me?